Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Zach's Tech Talk Tuesday. As always, my name is Ryan McQueeney, and on this week's show, we'll be getting ready for tomorrow's highly anticipated earnings report from Micron by giving you 3 things to watch when the memory solutions giant reports on Wednesday afternoon. The eyes of the tech world will be on Micron for a bunch of reasons, most notably the fact that there's not really a bunch of other earnings reports anytime soon, and also because Micron is incredibly popular and trendy right now. We're almost to the point where Micron needs no introduction, but we'll touch on a couple things here first before we jump in. The company, as I said, has emerged as one of Wall Street's most popular growth stocks over the past year, or even 2 years or 3 years, as the company has continued to ride the rising tide of demand for its core products even higher. What are those products? Well, Micron manufactures and markets what is called dynamic random access memory. That's DRAM, D-R-A-M, NAND flash memory, N-A-N-D flash memory, and other semiconductor components and memory modules used in computing, consumer, networking, and mobile devices. Really just used one of the top memory solutions providers across the entire technology sector, has been on the rise because of rising demand for its memory products because, well, all of the great tech growth markets, and this includes cloud computing, AI, driverless cars, the Internet of Things, these things all create a bunch of data, and we need to put that data somewhere, and that benefits people who make memory storage solutions such as Micron. This brings me to the first thing I want people to be looking for when Micron reports. Again, we're going to be running through 3 key things to watch or look for or pay attention to, whatever you want to say. This is the first: secular versus cyclical growth. So there's this cloud that looms over Micron because of past experiences investors have had with the stock. Namely, its boom during the dot-com bubble era and a few noticeable periods of upturns and downturns over the past decade and a half. These up and down periods have been caused by what many would call cyclical trends. Here's this new trend in PCs that will cause a rise in demand for some stretch of time, or here's the latest innovations in smartphones that's going to do the same. Micron matches that with a product that creates or fills the need for a new innovation in the memory side of things. It benefits for a certain stretch of time, and then that thing is no longer new and must have, and the cycle falls off. So what we're really asking ourselves today, these days, when we think about Micron is the company's growth tied to a cyclical trend or new secular trends that we are only starting to see take effect? This is the type of thing that we're going to hear about via commentary in the earnings release or in the earnings conference call. I would actually be surprised if an analyst did not ask about this very specifically last quarter. And I believe I've talked about this on the show, or perhaps in other capacities on Zax.com. Micron hit this head on. They jumped right into talking about it during the earnings release. Micron CEO Sanjay Mehrotra said, quote, "Secular technology trends are driving robust demand for memory and storage, and Micron is well positioned to address these growing opportunities." Really, this is the polarizing thing with Micron is, are we already over the hump? Are we coming back down to the second half of this growth cycle wherein great work, everyone who just benefited from this stock's incredible run over the past year plus, great job, cash out now. There's no way that there's more gains to come. We've seen what it looks like when we come over the hump on Micron in the past, and it can get brutal. So let's cash in now. The cycle is ending, or are we looking at the start of trends that could really redefine the company's dynamic, if you will? I mean, redefine the entire technology sector. So as one of the leading providers of memory solutions to the technology sector, really redefine Micron in the way that investors think about it. You're going to get a lot of people on either side of the fence, and I think even the slightest hint of timidity in the company's guidance is going to have the more bearish side of that fence be out very loudly on Wednesday afternoon, Thursday morning after Micron reports. We'll get more to what to expect from Micron's guidance in a little bit, but this is something that is going to be a topic of conversation in the immediate wake of this report, and it's something that I think if you're interested in holding Micron long through this report, is something you definitely need to keep your eyes on. Is what is fueling the growth, and can we track that growth back to these secular technology trends? The AI, the cloud computing, the Internet of Things that if you believe these estimates, really should be growth markets for many years to come. Now, I think this is a perfect segue to my next topic, which is simply cash flow. Not quite as exciting as talking about what could be, something that really redefines the entire technology sector, but important nonetheless. Why is it important? Because companies like Micron can break through cyclical cycles by properly positioning their balance sheets and putting themselves in the position to use cash strategically, namely through M&A activity. This is something we've seen Micron do plenty in the past. Over the last 2 decades, the company has acquired 13 businesses, notably including Elpida, Inotera, Mnemonics, and Lexar Media. I'm sorry if I butchered any of these names. Repeat listeners will know I often do that. So these buyouts have helped Micron in expanding wafer manufacturing capacity, DRAM offerings, wafer testing services, and these are the types of things, you concerned about certain cycles, certain product cycles, while you can kind of overcome some of those concerns by expanding your product library. Micron does have a relatively strong cash flow generating ability, which helps it make these acquisitions and invest in new products, invest in its future. Generated approximately $8.15 billion of cash flow in fiscal 2018, ended that fiscal year with a cash and short-term investment balance of about $5.43 billion. Of course, we're in fiscal 2018 now. This is Q3 report coming up. So we already have the first half of fiscal 2018 details too. In those 6 months, Micron generated operating cash flow of about $8 billion and ended the second quarter with cash and short-term investments of $8.04 billion. So already been a cash-rich first half of the year for Micron in fiscal 2018. It does have a significant amount of debt on its balance sheet as well, but that strong cash flow is really helping it service that debt effectively and efficiently. So that's something, again, to keep your eyes on. Both what did the cash flow look like in Q3, what is our final cash balance, and what, if any, are our plans to spend it over the coming months and years. So that's two of the 3 key things I want people to look for when Micron reports. Again, recapping, it's that secular versus cyclical growth and cash flow. And our final thing is just going to be the basics: earnings, revenue, and guidance. Just run through those things real quickly. Our current Zacks consensus estimates are calling for Micron's quarterly revenues to pop about 38% to touch $7.7 billion in the quarter. Other end of the income statement, quarterly earnings are projected to skyrocket nearly 94% to touch $3.14 per share. This is a growth stock, ladies and gentlemen, so we're looking for explosive growth on the top and bottom line. Guidance, obviously, much more difficult to predict. Only so much we can say about what the company sees looking ahead. Before that report, it's difficult to even speculate on. One way we can kind of try to put our finger on the pulse of what is happening with Micron in the most recent way that we can measure that is to look at earnings estimate revision activity. Obviously, Zacks viewers will know this as the basis for the Zacks rank model, but it really gets the reason why the Zacks rank is such a powerful tool, and the reason why we look at these things is earnings estimate revisions really help us track the most recent things we know about a company. If an analyst has published an earnings estimate in the past and gone in and revised it, we think that that revision is based off of new or updated information based off of what's been happening recently. We think that revision is a clearer indicator of the company's near-term business outlooks than the previous estimate. So we get to see, especially in a positive direction, if things are looking good, if this analyst sentiment is trending upwards, we think that's a good sign for the stock. But it might even also be a hint that guidance could be strong, based off of these near-term business outlooks. So again, looking at specifically what we have seen here, Micron has had extremely positive earnings estimate revision activity recently, earning 8 upward revisions to its full year EPS estimates and lifting our consensus projection for fiscal 28 by 49 cents per share. That's all within the past few weeks. So again, great trend there, but as I said, incredibly difficult to speculate on what we might see for guidance. Still, though, it's a trendy growth stock. It's one that a lot of people are talking about. It's one that a lot of people are following, but we're not reinventing the wheel here. And, the basics of earnings, revenue, and guidance are really going to have a serious impact on how the stock trades in the immediate aftermath of the report on Wednesday. So to recap, it's the basics, it's cash flow, and it is the secular versus cyclical growth trends that I mentioned at the top of the show. Those are the 3 things to be paying attention to when Micron reports this week, or at least those are the 3 things I think you should be paying attention to or keeping your eyes on. Definitely welcome to disagreement. What am I missing? Certainly feel free to give me a shout. As a reminder, if you ever feel that I missed something or if you want me to cover a different story, shoot me an email at podcast@zacks.com. Make sure to check out all of our other audio content at zacks.com/podcasts. And remember to subscribe and leave us a rating on Apple Podcasts. We are also now available on Spotify if you prefer that method. No Tidal thus far. I know you guys re-downloaded Tidal to catch the Jay-Z Beyonce do the collab album over the weekend. That's now up on Spotify though, so you can go ahead and cancel your Tidal accounts. But our podcasts are also on Spotify. So that does it for us this week. Thank you for listening. As always, thank you for tuning in to the Tech Talk Tuesday podcast. We will see you next time.